Welcome to Female Season, the podcast where we embrace growth, confidence, and the journey of becoming our best selves together. Welcome back to Female Season. This is your host, Ari Bryant, and today we're getting real about the hustle culture. The thing that's praised all over social media, but if we're being honest, it has been hurting a lot of us more than it's been helping. And if you ever felt like you're not doing enough, like you have to work 24/7 just to make it, or that success only comes if you sacrifice everything, this episode is just for you. So for years, I was deep in hustle culture. I was a person who always had a new business idea, juggling 3 businesses at once while working a full-time job. I was obsessed with success and the idea of being a full-time entrepreneur. But one day I had to stop and ask myself, what do I actually have to show for all of this work? The truth is I was working harder, not smarter. I burned myself out, and it took a full reset for me to realize that I need to let go of that toxic hustle mentality and build a life that actually works for me. So the illusion of hustle culture, right? The pressure to keep up. Almost every day we see someone online saying like, do this to be a millionaire by 30. If you're not working on your side hustle every night, you don't want it bad enough, or sleep is for the weak. It's always something that's being said, and it puts this different type of pressure over you. And I believe, I thought I wasn't working hard enough if I wasn't exhausted every day. That's not good at all, right? So the reality of hustle culture is burnout is not a badge of honor. So hustling nonstop doesn't guarantee success. Success doesn't come from working the most hours, but from working the smartest way. And let's be real, working all the time doesn't actually mean you're being productive. So my personal wake-up call was December 2023 to January 2024. So I spent like 10 years chasing entrepreneurship, obsessing over success, and working after hours almost every single day after work. One day I had to ask myself, what was all this effort for? Like, what was it actually doing for me? And I was exhausted. I was constantly switching between business ideas, and I didn't reach the success I envisioned. I finally had to ask myself, I had to admit this, and I didn't want to, but I had to. I was saying, I'm trying to make 3 businesses work at the same time, and I'm just really setting myself up for failure doing this in this way. So the breaking point I had was, for the first time in years, I gave myself permission to take a break. So like I said, December 2023 to January 2024, I said I'm taking a month off, no businesses, no side hustles, just rest. That's it. And you know what happened? I really struggled to get back into entrepreneurship once that month ended. I was so drained from years of overworking myself that I cannot get back in the way I just stepped away from it. It's crazy. And, I was realizing that working harder wasn't the answer. The craziest part, after all that time, I had to face the truth. I had to put in so much effort for so long, but I didn't have the results to show for it. It wasn't about more effort. It was about a better strategy. So I had this whole self-evaluation, and what I finally realized was that I need to ask myself, what do I really want? Do I actually enjoy what I'm building, or am I just doing it because I feel like I have to? When you've done something for so long, sometimes we don't take the time to reevaluate it and say, do I still want this? because we go through different phases in our life, and sometimes things you may want 5 years ago you may not want anymore. And it's like, because it's all you talk about, that's all your family knows about you, sometimes you tend to continue going down that path, even though you may really have a change of heart. You may want to do something different. So that's something that I've experienced for quite a while, especially if I've been trying to do entrepreneurship for 10 years. I've had so many different phases in my life, and so many things have changed. And I realized that, I need to reevaluate what I want to do, and if what I'm currently trying to do, is it still for me? I had to also ask myself, why am I forcing myself to run multiple businesses when I can create one that allows me to do everything I love? So how I'm moving differently now. For one, I'm focusing on one business. Instead of running myself to the ground with multiple businesses, I'm building one strong foundation before adding anything else to my plate. If you're struggling with this too, it's okay to pace yourself. Success doesn't have to happen all at once. So just take your time and don't feel like you're being left behind. I had this issue a lot. A lot of times I'm just a very creative person. So I feel like the ideas I have are just so out of this world, and I'm scared like, if I don't do it, it's, I think all these negative things, and it's really not good, because thinking of those things is pushing me to do something that maybe I'm not supposed to do. I also realized that when you're creative, or you are just great at so many different things, you tend to want to do so many businesses. And there's a difference between a business and a hobby. I had to tell myself this, because if you leave it to me, anything that I'm somewhat good at, I'm going to try to make a business out of it. Let's do it. This is going to be this business. This is going to be this. And I need to have something for myself as a hobby, something just fun to do where I'm taking the business out of it. Because sometimes when you make something a business, it's more complicated. And I had to say, okay, I like doing this, but that don't mean it's a business. Just do it because it's fun. Do it as a way to relax. Do it as a way to get away, or just to have some fun. I did tell myself that everything that you're great at and everything that you love to do does not mean it needs to be a business. So I would constantly tell myself that, because I'm the type of person, I'm going to try to make everything a business and try to figure out how to make some money from it. And that's not good. So I'm trying to work on that. But I'm, like I said, focusing on building one strong foundation, okay, before I'm trying to add anything else on my plate. And then I think something else that's super important is choosing a job that really supports your goals. I realized that I couldn't work an overwhelming 9-to-5 job and still expect to build a successful business on my own time. It's not possible. So I've dealt with jobs where I had to work evenings or weekends sometimes, and it really pulled me away from my business. When you are stretching yourself thin, and like, how can you have that extra time to work on your business or your passion? Like, how do you have time for that? Because you're overwhelmed. So by the time you get home, you cook dinner, and if you have a family, you got to make sure your family's good. Where do you fit in this? Right? That's how you easily get burnt out, and things take longer to accomplish because you don't have the time. So finding a job that has that work-life balance is really, really, really important. So I had to make better choices for myself, and I found a job that actually gives me a work-life balance. That's super important. And I think too, I would say at least 4 years of those 10, I was in jobs that did not have that work-life balance, and I was overwhelmed. I was stressed, and it was really hard to get it done. So I really feel like I've kind of wasted several years because on top of having a job that didn't have work-life balance, I was trying to run 3 businesses, and I really didn't get to give one business or one brand is all my attention. And I probably could have been more successful if I would at least went and focused on one business. But I also, like I said, didn't have that work-life balance. Those are really important because these things may not seem like a big deal, but they really play a huge part in really getting that balance to support you in the way that you need to be supported so that you can get it done, especially after hours. The third thing I had to do was to unlearn the toxic hustle mentality. So I had to unlearn this idea that I had to overwork myself to be successful. I had to stop looking at social media and feeling like I was falling behind. It's really, really common to feel that way because you see so many people progress and you're like, okay, it's working for them. Why not me? But we don't really know what happens before they're even on social media posting these things about what they have going on. We don't really know what's going on. All we know is what they're showing us. So I had to stop comparing myself a long time ago and realize that I need to really enjoy my journey and figure it out and not compare myself or not feel left behind, because what's for you is for you. So you need to continue to work on that. And timing is everything, and the right time is going to work out for you. So, don't rush it. You want good quality in what you're doing. You want it to be beautiful when it's time to release it, or when it's time to tell people about it or show it off, or whatever your passion or your business is. So when I'm saying that, I'm saying take your time with it. Do not feel left behind, because don't even worry about the market. The market can be oversaturated. Every single person is different. So don't let something hold you back from doing what you want to do. But also, don't let someone else's success try to make you speed up and do things, because you need to make sure you take your time to do it the way that you want to do it. That's really important to know. So like I was saying, I had to unlearn the toxic hustle mentality. Most importantly, I had to just remind myself that I don't deserve to be overworked or burnt out. So I had to, like I said, stop looking at social media, feeling like I'm falling behind, and overworking myself. It just was not healthy. The fourth thing I did was create a sustainable plan for my soft life. Yeah, soft life is what I said. I still want to reach my goals. I still want financial freedom, but now I have a plan that allows me to do it without killing myself in the process. It's all about low stress, high impact, choosing intentional effort over excessive effort. That is very important. My final words on this topic is hustle culture makes us feel like we have to do everything all at once to be successful. But success isn't about how hard you work. It's about how smart you work, how well you take care of yourself, and how sustainable your plan is. So if you've been feeling like you're not doing enough, pause, ask yourself, am I actually making progress, or am I actually just making myself busy? So I want to hear from you. Have you struggled with hustle culture? How have you learned to balance ambition with peace? That's super important. Email me at podcast@femaleseason.com. I really want to hear what you have to say. Or if you have something else that you want to talk about, a different topic, feel free to email me. Please do so that I can have some things to read and maybe include in a future podcast. And if this episode hits home for you, send it to another woman who needs this reminder, okay? And I will see you in my next episode. Later. Bye.